All right, let's return now to that Clacton by-election, and joining us live now is our political correspondent, Harry Farley. Harry, what's the latest there?
Hi, Carl. Welcome back to the Essex Coast. Well, with me is Count Binface, the man who many people have described as Nigel Farage's main rival for this post. Count, welcome to the BBC. Thanks for joining us. Nigel Farage has called you the establishment candidate. Are you?
What do you think?
No, I'm asking you. Do you have had the backing of Labour, the Conservatives, Liberal Democrats? Are you the establishment candidate taking on Nigel Farage?
Well, it's in a way it's a compliment to. How many? 8 weeks ago, I scored 0.2% of the vote against Andy Burnham in Makerfield. Nobody was calling me the establishment then, and now, just 8 weeks later, let's just say I get 5% of the vote. That's a 2,500% swing to Binface. Hashtag swing bin. And so suddenly I'm the face of the establishment. However, I would argue, Harry, that someone who has been an MP, been an MEP, who is one of the chief architects of Brexit and one of the dominant figures in British politics over the last 20 years, and is reputedly a member of the East India Gentlemen's Club, which apparently does not admit women, I would say that's arguably slightly more establishment than a lone wolf space warrior with a CFAX fixation. But you know what? It's up to you.
You're on the BBC World, speaking to a global audience. Tell us some of your policies. 99p flakes to cost 99p. Take us through some of the other things that you would do if you are elected MP in Clacton.
Well, I mean, if it's a global audience, that's a little parochial for me, but I'll carry on. Yes, as you say, 99 flakes to be price capped, but also bus fares in Clacton to be price capped at £1.99. Take that, Andy. I will also pledge to build at least one affordable house. I will fill potholes with copies of the 2024 Labour manifesto. Any MP who calls a by-election without changing party mid-parliament should be barred from the resulting by-election. Any MP that crosses the floor should be forced to face a by-election. And of course, the pièce de résistance. Oil and gas companies to pay for solar panels for everyone. That one comes from Jack, age 10, because it's their planet and mine, not yours.
So there's a mixture of comical and slightly more serious policies there. I mean, I suppose there is a serious point. Are you making a mockery of democracy by standing in not just this by-election, but the countless others that you have done? Is there a danger that you trivialise what is ultimately quite a serious exercise?
Well, I appreciate the question. I'm very happy to answer that. I would argue that the reverse is the case, that British democracy is unique in the entire world, that anybody, you, any of the viewers, even me, no matter what you believe or what you look like, have a right to stand for election and, so importantly, stand on a stage, or in this case the floor, alongside the Prime Minister or a Minister of the Day or a far-right leader, whoever it is. You have a right to do that. It's the great leveller. And I would say the mockery is being made by those countries that don't have democracy, like China, Russia and North Korea. So my job is to celebrate. If it helps people, people have said they enjoy what I do, that's fantastic. But I think it's also really important that in the coming up to the mid-21st century, that Britain celebrates something that it actually does better than the rest of your planet. How about that?
Very, very good. Thanks, Count Binface. One final question. This is probably your best, or at least most high-profile by-election so far. What would be a good result? What are you expecting from tonight?
Well, I mean, it goes without saying that an actual victory would be the best. Just in case that happens, I brought with me the declaration form. Just if I was to get a £5 million donation, it must be filled in. I don't know if you know that, but I would make sure that this was filled in. First thing I do, basically, that and increasing the size of the door frames in Westminster. But, one vote is special. 309 would be a Binface record. 5% I get my deposit back, and then after that, it's for you guys to crunch the numbers and work out what percentage of humans would rather elect an alien with a Lovejoy fixation than Nigel Farage, who wants to be the next Prime Minister. I'll leave that with you.
And if Nigel Farage does win, there is a possibility that we could be back here in a few months' time. Will you be standing there again?
Well, that's the curious thing, isn't it? I said that in my manifesto. Vote Binface, and you would save an approximate £350,000 from another by-election. Maybe that could be paid out of Nigel's £5 million. But, what I think is that far from being an FA Cup tie, like a final, it might just be that this election is the start of a two-legged match, like the Carabao Cup or the Cold War. And that might mean we're back here. And all I've got to do is not ship too many goals too soon. You all know that, Harry. The game isn't over yet.
Count Binface, thank you very much for your time on the BBC. Really appreciate it. Carl, that's perhaps some of the more eccentric elements of British democracy here. Count Binface, one of the main rivals to Nigel Farage here in Clacton.
Yeah, I think fair to call it maybe one of the most bizarre by-elections in recent political history. Great to hear from one of the candidates there looking to improve on what we heard there was his previous personal best of 308 votes. And if you want to follow along all the progress, the vote counting, just scan that QR code there in the corner of your screen.